Okay. Good evening, everyone. Namaskar. My name is Captain Rekha Kapoor, and I'm very, very happy that, through All India Educators Forum, I've got this opportunity today to conduct this workshop, of happiness quotient in the classroom. And before starting the workshop, I would just like to bring that I'm thank you to Thomas sir, for this wonderful platform to all educators all over the country, and I think all over the world for that matter, and giving giving a chance to educators to conduct workshops on a platform like this, I think which gives us all a great opportunity to interact with each other. I think it's just been a week I have been associated with you, but the kind of input I have received from the WhatsApp groups of AIEF is amazing. And the kind of people I have attended the workshop of and interacted with, it is an amazing group of educators, like-minded people, and ready to help. I think that's the best part of this institution. And thank you so much once again, sir. And now before I start, I just want to start with a term. And so it's basically a quotation of Dalai Lama, that happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your own actions, right? I think with this in background, I think we have to do something to have happiness, in classrooms, in environment where we are working, in everywhere, where we go around. I think it's onus is on us. So with this as a background, I'm not suggesting that we need to have additional hours in the school for this kind of, happiness quotient. Though Delhi government has started happiness and joy, happiness classrooms. But I think in the new education policy, the complete focus is on fun and joyful learning in the classrooms. And before I move on, I would just like to ask everyone through the chat box, probably you can give me your answers and share your views, that what is, I think whose happiness we should focus on today. So, if quickly you could write and mention it in the chat box, that whose happiness is most important in the classrooms. Okay, ourselves, students, wonderful. Yeah, I think we are hardcore educators, so we only talk about students. But I personally feel that everyone's happiness is equally important. And I personally feel that if teachers are happy, I think the children will automatically become happy. Now, with this in mind, yes, happy teachers, happy children. Absolutely, Anu ma'am, thank you so much. So I think I'm going to focus on happy teachers, and instead then you can in turn you can do this workshop with your children, so that they can be happy, and we can have a wonderful happy classrooms. Now before I move on, I basically want to tell you that now this workshop is divided into 3 segments. So the first is just a second, please. Yeah. So I think the first thing is, now this workshop is divided into 3 segments. And now out of this segments, the first segment is self-awareness of our own emotions. I think we need to be aware of our own selves, what we are going through at what point of time. That is very, very important. Now, teaching strategies for self-regulation of emotions. I'm going to share some of the teaching strategies here, which we can work upon ourselves, and in turn, you can help the children to understand these. And then relationship management with colleagues and students, so this is very, very important. If we go to schools every day. Right now we are attending the online classes and taking online classes. So I think this is very, very important that we focus on these 3 strategies. Now, now before I start, I want to state one more thing. In a real sense, we have 2 minds, one that thinks and the other that feels. And this is a very, very important. If we delve deep into this statement, I think it is very, very important point of view which Daniel Goleman has stated. And I think we need to delve much deeper into this. Now, I want to move further now, stating that before I move further, I want to ask you again through your chat box, if you could tell me now, what is emotional intelligence or emotional quotient according to you? So if you could share, some of your viewpoints through the chat box, I would be, happy to take your responses. If quickly, I would just give a second or two, if you could, I think respond back. I think managing your emotions, emotional well-being, absolutely, understanding others and being compassionate and kind, absolutely right. I think Richa ma'am, Shrija ma'am, Manju ma'am, thank you so much. Shrija Anand, how you feel for others, how we deal with others, being empathetic, I think absolutely right, everyone. So basically what is, it refers to how well we handle ourselves and our relationships. I think it is very, very important. Handle ourselves, I think, is the first and the foremost thing. How I need to know about my own self. I need to know about my strengths, my weaknesses, my emotional, I think, intelligence. I need to be aware about that. At one point of time, I'm feeling what kind of, if I'm going through what kind of emotions. It is very, very important to know, and so basically being self-aware. I have seen, a lot of adults do not know about their strengths and weaknesses. It's very strange. If I, suddenly ask offhand, I have taken a lot of interviews of educators, if I suddenly ask offhand that, okay, what are your strengths? People take time, and what are your weaknesses? Weakness, I have realized that people know quite well, which is very strange. But when it comes to strengths, I think it is very, very important for us to know our strengths and the strengths of our children and our colleagues. Because in this situation of pandemic, it has really made us realize that collaboration is the key word. And if we want to have collaboration, I think we need to work upon each other's strength and harness each other's strengths. So I think we need to know ourselves very well. And then we need to know our relationships with everybody around us. I think our friends, our family, our colleagues, our management, and I think our children. I think that's I don't say students, basically I love to say children. So our children, I think this is the very important thing. Now, before again, basically I don't want it to be a monologue, so I would request you all, I think recognition of feelings and those of others, absolutely right. Anu ma'am, Indu Chauhan ma'am is writing, keeping the balance of emotions. Ma'am, that is very, very crucial. Thank you so much, Indu ma'am, for sharing that. I think balance of emotions is very, very important. Okay, now if I move on further, could you tell me that this in EI includes 3 skills? So if you could quickly, if anyone knows about it, so that we have a dialogue around it, we can have a better dialogue. If anybody knows about this, please respond through the chat box. If you know that, or if you guess, please guess also. There's nothing right or a wrong answer. We all are learning in a learning phase. Even I'm in a learning phase, and I would love to learn from all of you. So please, yes, interpersonal, intrapersonal, guess only. Absolutely right, ma'am. And anybody else, I would request you to please quickly write through the chat box. If I can have some more answers, I would love to have some more answers here. Or I would just move on. Social, absolutely right. Anybody else? Manju ma'am, thank you so much for sharing. I think you've guessed it right, basically. So yeah, so EI includes 3 skills. The first skills, the first skill in it is ability to identify and name one's emotion. First of all, I identify what emotion I'm going through and name it. Am I angry? Am I excited? Am I happy? Am I sad? And it is okay to have sad days. It is okay to have not so good days. I would not say sad, but not so good days in the classrooms. We cannot be perfect 24/7, though we try to be. Educators try to do that, but it is okay. So I think the most important thing is that we get to know our own emotions. So I think next I am going to. I really don't know what has happened. Yeah, now ability to harness those emotions. and apply them to tasks like thinking and problem solving. So whenever there is a problem solving, could be an argument in the staff room. Problem solving could be you have been given a task at the last moment by the management. Somebody is absent, so you are filling in, pitching in for your colleague. So it could be anything, So how do I harness those emotions and ability to manage those emotions? And please keep in mind, the children also in this. So ability to manage those emotions, regulating one's emotions and helping others to do the same. So I think this is, I think the crux line which matters to me the most here is in these 3 skills is helping others to do the same. That is very, very important. We need to identify what my friend is going through. We need to identify what children are going through, and help them at the right time is I think the most important thing an educator can do, to create a happy school, a happy classroom. Right now, I think I'll just move on further. This EQ, that is emotional quotient, or EI, includes 2 key competencies. So anybody can guess what are these 2 key competencies? If I think Gitanjali Sharma ma'am is manage and handle emotions. Jayanti Rajgopalan ma'am, thank you so much. Understanding. So if you could tell me what are, according to you, what are the 2 key competencies in EI or EQ? If you could tell me, I'll be really grateful, everyone, so that, we are on a common page. Quickly, if you could just write through the chat box, what do you think are the 2? Communication and collaboration, absolutely right. Managing emotions, thank you so much, Manju ma'am, Richa ma'am. Anybody else, would like to, I think, go for it? I would love to see some more answers. I think if you're more participative, I think the discussion would be really, really fun. So I would request you all, recognition and regulations, okay, right? And, so if we could just pinpoint these in 2 words, self-awareness, absolutely right. Now, if I could just pinpoint these into, I think first is the personal competency, which I said earlier, I think self-awareness, and the second is the social competency, right? So I think these are the 2 key competencies of EI or EQ, and I think, and these are very, very important, as we all know. Now, personal competency includes, now before again, I think I've already spoken enough, so I'm sure everybody would have an idea right now. So if you could quickly through the chat box, absolutely right, Gitanjali ma'am, thank you so much. Indu ma'am, self and others, thank you so much. I think I had put it self and social, you had said right. Emotional intelligence is the most often defined ability to perceive, use, understand, absolutely right. So ma'am, so if you could tell me personal competency according to you should include what? And so I can just, I think move further. Self-awareness, absolutely right. Do you think apart from self-awareness, do we have anything else in personal competency? Anybody else would like to try it out? Or I would like to, I think, go here. First is self-awareness, absolutely right. As I think Gitanjali ma'am said, then is self-management. How do I manage my work efficiently, my own self efficiently? How organized I am, in whatever task is assigned to me? How organized I am, in taking a break, like Matthew sir had recently done for AIEF teachers, a fun Antakshari. So I think that is also very, very important if we talk about self-management. So these things, and self-motivation. It is okay, sometimes we have, though we are doing a lot of things in our classrooms, and even in the new education policy, things are going to change tremendously for all of us, right? But I think keeping ourselves motivated is a very, very important thing. If we keep ourselves motivated, each and every class of ours is going to be amazing, and the children will be interesting, and it is going to be fun and joyful. Then next is social competency. Social competency, please again if you could tell me through chat box what exactly. Self-motivation is very, very important, absolutely right, Manjudas ma'am. Now could you tell me please, social competency would include, I have just given a clue to you, if you could just tell me again that what words, absolutely right, dealing with others, but if like I have to put in a word like self-awareness, self-motivation, can you think of a word which comes to your mind when we talk about social competence? Yes. Collaborative, intrapersonal skills, empathy. Absolutely right, Shrija ma'am. Empathetic. Thank you so much, Manchudas ma'am. So I think I'll come back here again. It is social awareness. I think how well I am aware of people around me, my surroundings, and social management, right? So it is almost the same words which you guys have told me. Only the thing is I have put words differently, right? So, before I move in further, I hope everybody is clear at this point, so that I can move on further, understanding others, knowing each other. I would love to take your responses. Please keep responding. Thank you so much. To understand people working with you, that is very, very important. Peer acceptance, absolutely right. And especially, I think a new teacher walking in the school, especially in this kind of a scenario, imagine a pandemic scenario, and if I think somebody helps out, somebody, I think gives a hand to handhold a person initially for 1 week or so. Imagine what that person would feel about you when you meet in person. Imagine, and not only, I think when the school is open, it is very, very important to, I think have, I think welcoming new children, welcoming new educators in our school, and welcoming with them with open arms, and helping and pitching wherever you can. Sometimes we cannot, but whenever you have an opportunity, please grab the opportunity. I'm telling you, I think I have been able to reach here because I have tried to grab the opportunity which has come, in front of me. So I think it is very, very service before self. Absolutely right, Jayanti Rajgopalan ma'am. Thank you so much for this wonderful word, and I love this word. Right? I think let's move ahead. Now, I think I'm going to ask you something about, self-awareness. Now, before I move on, I am going to ask you again. Now, let's start with, self-awareness of, for the first thing which I said was self-awareness. Now, I think I have given you the crux line here. I know which emotions I'm feeling and why. And now I would request you again to tell me, what do you think would come in self-awareness? What I am, what I want, absolutely right. What else? What else? If quickly you could tell me through, I think the chat box, I would really love to have your answers. I think confidence, absolutely right, Shrija ma'am. I think this is one thing, if we pass on to every single child, I think no child will be left behind. I call it NCLB, no child left behind. Positive mind, self-esteem, motivation, absolutely right. So I think I'll move on. So I think the most important thing is I know which emotions I'm feeling and why. And I think the next thing is I get to know, I understand the link between thinking and feeling. That is between what I do and say. It is a very, very important part of self-awareness, And third thing is I recognize how my feelings affect my performance at work. And I think because it is very, very important to express yourself. I'm not saying that don't express yourself. It is very, very important to express yourself. But I think the most important thing is that how will it affect others and my performance at work? You have to keep that in mind. You express your feelings, but how you do it is in your hands, right? And I'll tell you the techniques for how you do it, right? So next is, I think probably we'll discuss about it. I'm aware of my strength and limitations. This is very, very important. So I'm not using weaknesses here. I'm using limitations here, right? So nothing can stop you, and so you need to be aware of what you're good at, what you're not good at, and what you're not so good at. And I'm reflective and I learn from my experiences. It is okay if we have done something has not gone well. As I told earlier, we cannot have a good class every day. We have bad days of teaching too. I think everybody has that, whether you are, for whatever reasons, it could be technological reasons, it could be personal reasons. But I think how it could be that, you planned a workshop, you planned a group activity, it has not gone right. For whatever reasons, X, Y, Z, and then you reflect upon it and you learn from the experience that, okay, my children, behave in a particular way. So I need to do that, and I learn from it. I think that's the most important thing. Okay, now this is all about self-awareness. I think if anybody has to add on, please, this is not a totally in lifetime, good and bad, absolutely. Introspection, that is very, very important. And I said, I think reflective practices is, I have realized a lot of educators do not reflect. I think it is a very, very important skill of what has gone right, what has not gone so right, and reflect upon yourself. I think emotional self, absolutely right, I think. Thank you so much, Anu ma'am, for sharing. So anybody, please, this is not the complete, I'm not saying this is the only thing which comes in self-awareness. We can add on to this. I think you're most welcome to add on. And I think a lot of lovely points have come in, I think chat box, and I would probably include in my self-awareness list later on. Okay, now next I think is self-management. So if you could tell me quickly, what do you mean by self-management? What all things, as in self-awareness, we had certain things, what do you think would come under self-management? If you could tell me. Sharing the positive and the negative aspects of work, absolutely. Organize, very important. Taking care of one's health, thank you so much. I think touche, I must say that, Richa ma'am. I think that's very, very important. And how to conduct and behave with others, self-including traits, ability to manage oneself, absolutely right. Thank you so much for such wonderful answers. Now I'm going to meet, how do I manage my impulsive or distressing emotions well? Everybody has a right to be angry. Everybody has bad days. Everybody has personal problems. Everybody has problems at, in school. But how do I manage those impulsive and I think distressing feelings is very, very important. Do I shout at my colleagues if we've had an argument, or we have a disagreement on something, or I listen to the other person and I act ethically? I think that is very, very important. So I think next is I act ethically, and if I've done something wrong, it is, I think a bigger person would do this. I admit to my mistakes. It is okay, for example, I'm still learning, I get stuck in technology, and I still learning. So I think this is one skill I need to, learn, because CBSE has completely spoiled us, to be very honest. Everything is given to us on a platter. So I think, when the sir told me, Matthew sir told me, to, I think make a Zoom meeting. I learned everything from scratch, and I think I did well. I hope so, sir. Probably you can share that later. And I think so. I think admitting to your mistakes is very, very important. And then I think I take tough stand even if unpopular. I think this is one thing we need to understand very, very, this is very, very important, that sometimes we have to learn to say no, even if I become unpopular because of that. If you're not able to do it, take help of others, right? You will not become unpopular if you take of help others. I think collaborative, somebody mentioned collaborative learning. I think it is all about collaborative learning and learning to say no sometimes when you are not in that position, to take on the responsibility. It is okay. And I think, and I'm organized and efficient in my works. I think ma'am mentioned here, Indu ma'am probably mentioned here, organize and be firm about your beliefs. Absolutely. I think, this is very, very important. So how well from your side, you need to be organized. If I have realized, if the administrative work we all have in our schools, if the administrative work of educator is up to the mark, half the battle is won in the classrooms. Submitting things on time. And we feel that, in a school of 200 teachers, people don't notice. People do notice, I have seen. I have worked, in schools where, the admin staff has come and told me that, okay, ma'am, your work is always on time. So I think even if a clerk comes and tells you, I think it is appreciable, so I think you should take pride in it. So I think this is very, very important. And now we come to the next part, which I talked about in personal competencies, and that is I can. I can means my self-motivation. How do I self-motivate myself? If you could quickly write me through the chat box, how do I, how do you self-motivate yourself? I think the first thing which comes to my mind is dedication. I think saying yes to opportunities, especially to the challenging opportunities, and to be very honest, I was very skeptical that, okay, will it go okay? Will I be able to manage with the presentation, everything on my own? But I think I did a decent job. I would not say good, but probably that's for you all to tell me. But I think, taking things possibility, confidence, I think very, very important. So I'll go back again. So next is, I set challenging goals and take calculated risks. Please take risks and calculated risk. But sometimes I personally feel that, okay, just risks. I think it is important to take risks in life. Frankly speaking, if I would not have taken certain risks in my life, I would not have been here. I remember that, first time I went for a workshop, I had to take leave. When I went to conduct a workshop, and that was a long time back, I had to take leave for 2-3 days. But then I decided that let me take a plunge, so, and I learned ways of improving my performance. I think please accept the feedback, positive, negative, be ready to accept the feedback with a smile. I think it is a great learning opportunity. Feedback you receive from, I think, your colleagues, I think your children, parent is a very, very important thing. I act on opportunities, as I told you earlier. I act on opportunities as they arise. I operate from hope of success rather than fear of failure. It is okay, if I would not have been able to do, manage my presentation so well, it is okay. To be very honest, I have been doing all CBSE workshops without showing a presentation, and a friend of mine suggested, that please, ma'am, Rekha ma'am, that you must make a presentation. And I knew how to make presentations, so I made the presentation. And I was like, because I'm very comfortable, speaking and connecting with people just like that. But I was not very sure that with the presentation I'll be able to do that as well. But that's for all you all to tell me. Anyways, I'll move further. I think the last one which I missed was last view. I see setbacks as due to circumstance rather than unchangeable personal flaws. I think this is a very, very important statement. The setback is due to a reason, immediate circumstance, but not that you have personal flaws which are not changeable. So please do not lose your self-confidence. I think that's very, very important. Have your self-confidence intact all the time. Keep yourself motivated, and most important, keep smiling. I think you can win anybody over with your smile. So, okay. So I think here I come to an end to self-motivation, and I think next one, if you could quickly tell me what exactly was the next one in the social competency was. Positive things and self-confidence. Thank you so much, Manchu ma'am. You're wonderful. This is a very big, I think, compliment from your side. So please, and you could tell me the next one was in social competency. The first one was, if anybody could tell me what was the first one in the social competency, and yes, the first one was relationship management. Right. So in social competency, I think the first one, in personal competency, the next thing is your relationship management. So relationship management, I am attentive all the time, and I listen well to others. Listening is a very, very big skill, and I think attentive mindfulness. A lot of people are doing workshops on mindfulness. This is suddenly a new concept which has come in education scenario, and it is very, very important. I have realized, mindfulness is being present in the very moment, and listening is a big skill. And as even in the corporate world, there are workshops for listening skills. So I think let's focus on that. I understand the importance of others' needs and feelings. I understand others based on my understanding of their needs and feelings. So sometimes we don't know others as important. So if I have an understanding of my colleague, and then I decide upon his or her needs and feelings. I offer appropriate and timely assistance. This is very, very important. If somebody is struggling with something, and if you come across a child struggling, and if you do not offer timely assistance, if there's some, I think a personal health issue, or if there's a issue with a child which has to be addressed, but if you do not offer, timely assistance, especially, we've seen that, children, luckily, I'm so happy, to be very honest, that over a period of time, the marks in 10th and 12th standard are not so important as they were earlier, and we lost a lot of children because of that. And if we could have given timely and appropriate assistance to those children at right time, I'm sure they would all be here with us. But I'm so happy that we all are moving out of this thing of marks and not just focusing on marks. I think skill-based education is very, very important. And according to the new education policy, the vocational skill-based education, I think, talks about all this. And I respect and relate well to different people. This is also very, very important. And you need to relate well to others. And from here, now I think this is the first step of the soul. I think social competency. Now I move on to the next. Now, social awareness. Now, before I think move, anybody else who would like to share with me, what do you mean by yes? Teamwork, collaboration, making others feeling comfortable, very, very important. Anybody else would like to go through, I think, please, I think if you could quickly through the chat box, tell me what is social awareness all about? Mutual understanding, togetherness, collaboration. And I think post-COVID, and I think we will realize that if we will reflect upon the COVID scenario, I think the collaboration and the teamwork would be the first thing which will be at the top of our list as educators. I think because of the collaboration, there were a lot of people like me struggling with technology, and the young people, helped us, people like me, and to be comfortable to come out of the fear of technology. And I think I really take this opportunity to appreciate those young people, helping, not just growing yourself, I think helping everyone to grow has to be the mantra, so I build rapport well. Next is I can adapt my communication style to reach out to different people. Sometimes we need to focus. I think, as I told you, that if you get to know about, okay, this is not you are good at, I think how it is not rocket science, to be very honest. I think everybody can, it's a skill. Communication is a skill, so attend workshops. Matthew sir gives a great platform to have these kind of workshops, speaking skills. Recently, we had Mr. Banerjee who gave a speaking skills workshop. So please go through those workshops, attend those workshops, see the YouTube recording of those workshops, and move on. Have a great communication style. And then I deal with difficult issues in a straightforward way. So it's like you're not preparing a khichdi, and I think telling the person, giving the right feedback. I have seen people telling, okay, this answer is wrong. But there are some children who want to know that why this answer is wrong. What have I done? So giving specifics sometimes is very important. Telling a person that, okay, you're not good, is not a right way to give a feedback. I think giving specific that, okay, you need to work upon your organizational skills more, or you need to work upon, I think submitting the work in time. I think you need to be straightforward and give a proper feedback, specific feedback. And I listen well and seek mutual understanding. So that's again very, very important. Anybody else would like to add any other point? Please do that. Yes, be specific in your answers. And so very, very important. So please, if you have any other points which you want to add on, please do add on. This is not like an end list, I think this is an unending list. So please keep adding on, to this workshop. Please keep sharing, and so that awareness of changing needs of children and changing in the role. Absolutely right, ma'am. I think never use negative remarks. Use negative remarks in a positive way. We need to tell the person that, okay, I think what I meant by saying straightforward was, you need to tell the person that, okay, this is not right. But how you communicate it.
Positivity, negativity, ma'am.
Sorry. Okay.
There must be positivity even in negativity, right?
Absolutely right. Absolutely right, sir. Thank you so much. And I think, and I think the next most important thing is, you need to encourage dialogue and open conversations. That's very, very important. Have have dialogue in the schools, have open conversations among, I think, with your staff, with your colleagues, with your children. If you do not like anything, otherwise, if you do not convey that to the person next to you, it's not possible for that person to understand. Sometimes we feel that, okay, the person should understand, I'm going through this, but you're being unhuman. That person is also a human being sitting right across the table. So you need to convey, I think, in an open and a frank way, keeping the respect in the relationship. That is very, very important. But I think if you tell the truth, I have realized, you are always a winner. So I think it's a skill. Actually, giving feedback is a great skill. I have faced this with a lot of children also. At one point of time, my senior children used to come and ask me. I was teaching 11th standard political science, and the children used to come and ask me, ma'am, why this answer is wrong, or why you have not given me full marks, especially in English and languages. Where basically, when the children write a paragraph or something, and if you have given them less marks, I think it's very, very important to let them know that why you have done that. Where have they been lacking, so that they can improve their content. This is from the class implication point of view. Okay, now before I move on, I think there are some self-regulation techniques which I realize that everybody should have. Pass it on to your children, pass it on to your family, pass it on to your, I think to your colleagues, pass it on to your class children, your own children. I think these self-regulation techniques have helped me to a great extent, and I'm sure these self-regulation techniques can help you. But before I show you what are these self-regulation techniques, I think when I'm going to elaborate on the point, you please feel free to add on. The words I'm giving in, probably they can be many more other words, and there are language teachers here in this. I'm sure there'll be many language teachers, and please add on and to this list, and make your own list. Probably that will be great, and share it with me, so that I can keep updating my list. Thank you. So I think the second self-regulation technique, which I think always adopt, is scare. First is stop. What is stop? I'll share with you. Second is scare, and the third is please. Now, before I share you what is stop, what is scare, what is please, if according to you, you could tell me that what could stop before, let's start with stop first. Let's not focus on care. So what do you think S would stand for in stop? Now, I will share it with you, but I want to know if you could. Okay, stop giving negative remarks. Thank you so much. Jyoti Bhatia ma'am is saying strength. Don't overindulge in people's situations. Choose your word carefully. Ma'am, what would start with S? Strength, like ma'am said, strength. If you could give me a word which you would like to stop, in a self-regulation. Now we know what is self-regulation. So if I'm using a self-regulating techniques, what S could stand for? If you could quickly stimulate self, speak consciously, absolutely right. Anything else? But self, ma'am, self is a very big word. Thank you, Inayat ma'am, be specific. So I think instead of self, Kusum ma'am, please do not mind. If you could give me a specific word, I would really appreciate that. Smile, I think share, self-confidence, absolutely right. Tabassum ma'am, Arumita ma'am, thank you so much. Okay, now I think, let me share this with you. Now, what is stop? Let's see. Stop is that in self-regulation, that is keeping in mind the self-awareness, the relationship awareness, self-motivation, all these things, keeping in mind, I think S is for stop, that is always pause for a moment. It need not be a long pause, because you will lose your audience, you will lose your children. So I think just a brief pause to collect your thoughts. I have always believed in that, and please keep sharing what S according to you could be. T is take a deep breath, before saying anything. O is observe, and what to observe is what thoughts are going through your mind right now. Where is your focus of attention? And what are you reacting to? Are you reacting to a person, an event, or a previous thought? Sometimes we jumble up our emotions, jumble up our reactions. Somebody has done something and probably will say something which happened almost a month back. So what you're reacting to. And what sensation do you notice in your body? Are you sweating? Are you stiffening? This is a very great skill, to pick up. And this has really helped me. And so now, what is P? P is practice. What is the best thing to do right now for me, for others in this situation? What can I do that fits my values? I think somebody in the chat box mentioned, I think, my values. I think it is very, very important. Don't go against your values ever, and do what will be effective and appropriate. Now, I have to show, I think probably you can also tell me patience, perseverance. Thank you so much. Trusting your own ability. T, absolutely right. O, say anything coming to your mind from O. If anybody could give me something, trusting in your own ability. What is coming to your mind if I say the word O apart from observe? What anybody would like to go in for? Optimistic. Thank you so much. Obedient. Optimism, optimistic. Thank you so much. And the last P is pull back. So if you please, you feel free to have new terminologies, new words which match stop. And if we pass on these skills to our children, I think they will be a very confident, happy individuals. So positive persona, perfection, right? Thank you so much. Anybody else would like to go on, please? From P, I perseverance, absolutely right. Thank you so much, everybody. So I'll come back here, put in some perspective, relax your body, take the helicopter view, I think bigger picture, what we call, and then what is a more reasonable explanation or way of looking at a situation, and sometimes, if I have realized that now the classrooms are not the same which they were probably even, I think, 2 years earlier, before the COVID thing, before the pandemic, and the children are exposed to so much of information. There's, I think, so sometimes teachers are at loss, especially, for example, I'm a social science teacher. I have seen that political science is actually, the whole world is full of political science. I think the current affairs are an integral part of, I think, political science, and social sciences for that matter. And I've realized that sometimes I had no information, and the child who's interested in a particular thing, had more information about that particular topic. So I think, and saying that, no, okay, I'm not aware about it, and I'll get back to you, is very, very important. As educators, it is not possible for us to know everything every time, everywhere. So I think it is okay to tell your children that, okay, I'll get back to you, but getting back to them is very, very important. Processing, perception, precaution. Thank you so much. So probably we can add on to this list, and it's a great list. Now I come to the next one, that is care. I think in the care, I think the first one for me is code of professional conduct to be followed. So if you could tell me what is care? Calming ourselves when upset. Ma'am, please, I would request you to please mute yourself. Thank you so much. Confidence, I think absolutely right. Vishnu sir, Akanksha ma'am, compassion, composed. I think these all things, what you have right, come in our professional code of ethics. I think there is a professional code of ethics for all educators, and I think if you go through that in detail, you will realize that whatever you've mentioned here is all in that. Words could be different, but I think I think the word could be different, but I think it means the same. Camaraderie, I think working with your colleagues, I think is so I think everything, code of conduct. Yes, absolutely right, ma'am. So please go through that. I think that's very, very important. And the next is A, acquire knowledge about your students to be able to cope proactively. Not only your students, I would say, but I think acquire knowledge about your colleagues. And especially, I think for the leaders here, work on the strengths of your educators. If you give them the task appropriate to their strength, I think they all will come out with flying colors, and appreciate them. I think for me, A is also appreciation. Please add on to the list again, adaptability, attention. If you could add on, please, I would request you. Attitude, thank you so much. I think your attitude has to be positive. Accessible, acceptance, thank you so much. I think these are wonderful words. I think we need to, I think, have, I think share. If I could add on all those, I'll surely add these on my list.
Appreciating.
Now, R is the reflective practices and self-confidence. It helps you.
With A, first of all, we have to be affectionate.
Absolutely right, ma'am. I think somebody had already mentioned here affectionate. I think that's a crux word. I think when I say, ma'am, acquire knowledge about your students, I also feel that if you know about them personally, invest time in them. And if you know them well, obviously you will be affectionate. If you know that this child has a particular issue or a particular problem and how you can help, and an affectionate person would only be able to help if you know about your children. I think so. That is what I meant here. R is, and please add on. That's what I'm saying. This is, you can add on to this list. You're most welcome to do that. R is the reflective practices. We always need to reflect. I think this is a skill which a lot of educators, I think lack. And I think we need to have reflective practices. And, I think somebody shared, I think a beautiful, I think day before yesterday, Matthew sir, a note, writing notes to your children. I think that's a beautiful reflective practice, that if somebody has done well, so you reflect on it and write a note to your child. There was a beautiful note which was shared by, I don't remember the name of that ma'am on the group, and that was a beautiful note, so I think that would also come in a reflective practice. And self-confidence, obviously, we've been talking about since the time we have started this workshop. Okay, now before I move on, anybody can guess that what is E in care? Recognition, absolutely right, ma'am. Resourcefulness, energetic, so if you could tell me,
Empathy.
what do you think? Empathy, thank you so much. From E, ma'am. Energetic, engaging, absolutely right. For me, E here is engaging with your colleagues ensures you are not in it alone. One is engaging with your, I think children, with your colleagues, and one is, it gives a very calm feeling that, okay, even, I'm not the only one. If somebody has done a blunder, in putting up a result or something, and if somebody else has done it, so you feel that, okay, well, I'm not the only one. It gives for example, I think, pair, share is an activity which I used to do a lot of time in my classrooms, because I feel that a lot of times it happens with me also, that if somebody asks me something, I don't have a prompt reply, and there are a lot of children like me, who do not have prompt reply. So I think if somebody else, I think says, then okay, this was what was asked of me. Sometimes I don't even understand certain things, so it gives me a confidence, so I think engaging with your colleagues, think, pair, share is very, very important. And, I think we all are together, and we've shown I think everybody that, when we are together, when there is teamwork, when there is collaboration, when there is I think we all can do wonders, which we have done in pandemic. So this is what is care all about. Emotion, I think enjoying every situation, empathy equally, absolutely right, ma'am. Thank you so much for sharing, everybody. And I think now the most important thing which I am coming with the next thing is, the next one is please. So before I move on, if you could share what exactly please can be. P in please stands for, according to you, then I'll share what I have written, and probably you can add on again as I'm reiterating that please add on. I think patience, okay, ego, I'm asking from P right now, ma'am. Patience, politeness, purposefulness. See, we always think from, I think, the teacher perspective, but it is very, very important that sometimes I do things for my own self, right? So here, P would be, for me, would be treat your physical illness. I'm talking about educators. Don't ignore it. So PL is please treat your physical illness. Don't take it lightly. You can only be a happy educator if you are a healthy educator, right? So that is very, very important. I think don't ignore yourself. And please do this with children also. Because if we are happy, automatically it will reflect in our teaching learning practices. It will reflect, I think in whatever I am doing in school, at home. So I think if you have got to know, work towards it. If you know about your illness, and generally also it's very important to take care of your health, right? Being polite, I think pleasure, positive, absolutely right, ma'am. Thank you so much. Next, according to me, is E, eat healthy, right? And this is very, very important, especially in I think the internet is filled up with, I think the health is becoming, it was an industry, but it is becoming a bigger industry. We have seen in last 2 years. But I think eat, I think healthy, I think, which makes you happy. That's very, very important. And I think eat right and healthy, express apology, energize, exercise mind and body. Absolutely right, ma'am. Being energetic and exercise is my last E. Thank you so much, ma'am, sharing it right now. Now, A is, sorry, avoid mood altering drugs and alcohol. I think when we talk to children about it, you can probably remove this. You can, I think you can only mention avoid there. Avoid certain things. I think avoid negativeness, avoid, probably you can say like that, avoid negativity. I think ma'am, if you could write in the chat box, avoid unpleasantness. Absolutely right, ma'am. Acceptance could be another word. So probably avoid anger, accuracy. So you can write avoid so and so, so and so, so whatever you feel like, and accuracy. And the last is, I think here for me is S is sleep well, and E is for exercise. I think in whatever capacity you can, I think walk, or whatever capacity you want to do an exercise, please do that. Keep yourself healthy. If you're healthy, and automatically you'll be happy. I think so. So I think this is, I think now, I think if we take on what we have discussed here, and I think take it on to our classrooms, I think, and share it with our children in not in the capacity which I have shared in here with all of you, but I think age appropriate capacity, I would say. It will be very, very good for children if you share these things with children and give them. And imagine if we are doing this with class 1 children, but please use age appropriate words, use age appropriate sentences, and give them age appropriate sentences that so that they can understand. Imagine the kind of confidence and the relationship management they would have at that age. Probably you can do this with parents also, and share this when you're doing a parent orientation program in your school. And so that if you share it with parents, automatically it will start reflecting on the children. Similarly, if you I personally believe that if you share it with teachers, automatically it will start reflecting towards for our children in the classrooms. So I think these are certain things, mantras basically, which I have been following, and I have been using them for my own self and in my classrooms. And so please, I think, use them appropriately. And these are basically some important pathways, and if we are aware about these things, probably we can have better I think relationship in school. Now I think have satisfaction about the past, I think, and optimism about the future, and happiness in the present. This is what I would like to share with all of you here. And you can't do anything much about the past, so there's no point, and so I think be peace with your past, I think, and have optimism about what is going to come for you. I think don't worry, we've done a great job in this pandemic, and I'm sure we all will be recognized. People are recognizing all of us, and so I think just be optimistic and grab the opportunity wherever you can, and be happy in your present. So I personally feel that if we follow these things, and then I think we can be better people, better person ourselves, and we can have better classrooms, and happy classrooms. Because I have always believed that if we are happy, that happiness reflect in our teaching learning process. And I think going through, I think I think new education policy is what it is. First of all, I'm very happy with new education policy because it gives a lot of leverage to children to take things which they are interested in. Shabina ma'am, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I like that, huh? Your name is Rekha, but you're limitless. Oh, thank you so much. I'm very happy. Now, I think whatever you should do with passion, and I think follow your passion. We leave ourselves behind as educators. A lot of people told me that, okay, oh, you were doing this session on happiness quotient in classrooms. You're going to talk about children being happy. I did not share anything with anyone for that matter, because I feel that if an educator is happy, the children will be automatically happy. And if we have a happy environment in school, in organization we are working in, I think automatically people will be happy. Ups and downs are part of life. We cannot say that, that the whole day is not full of ups and downs. Imagine. So imagine talking about career, talking about your school, talking about the management perspective, the children perspective, the parents. You cannot, I think, please everyone. And please, I would request you if you could mute yourself. I'll be really grateful. Thank you so much, Rupali ma'am. I'm really grateful, and for you to join the session. And thank you so much, everyone. Manchudas ma'am, people who have responded. I think the best part was the chat box. I love to take responses from people, and I am very happy that everybody responded. And happy session with positivity. And let's I think fill our schools with this positivity. And welcome our children back. And I'm very, very optimistic that children will be coming very soon to us. And I think the few pointers, I think, which I have, as we have little time, I would like to share that unconsciously, sometimes, we brand our children, we name them, we give them words. I think in the staff room, but we don't realize that, it reaches on. Children keep our names. If we say that, okay, they don't, they know our strengths also. I've realized they know our weaknesses also. Children are very, very smart. They know that this ma'am is good in this and this ma'am is good in that. But I think accepting, to our children also that, okay, I'm good in this and I'm not so good in that. Ma'am, feedback link, I'm so sorry, I don't have a feedback link right now. Probably in the AIEF group, you can give a feedback, and next time I'll keep that in mind and have a feedback link, and learn how to do that. And so thank you so much.
If you can, Rekha ma'am, if you could post the certificate link in the chat, it will be nice.
Yeah, I'll surely do that, sir.
Yeah.
I'll do that. Just a second, sir. So that is it, so yeah. I'm just
thank you, Rekha ma'am, for the wonderful session.
Thank you so much, sir.
Jam-packed, very engaging, and a lot of participants could not join us because of the limitation of the number. They were asking me to admit. I said it's already full, and I could see the chat box also overflowing with comments, which showed how much people were engaged. So thank you so much. And some people were asking about the certificate. You will get a certificate. Ma'am will be posting a link, so you can fill the link, and then
I'll just post the link. Just a second.
Yeah.
Okay, and in the meanwhile, I think if you could share something, anybody wants to share, please, I think unmute yourself, and probably you can share, and in the meanwhile, I'll just, yeah, please share. If you could just share, in the meanwhile, I'll just post the link. Yes.
Rekha ma'am, you just said that if a teacher is happy, then the children will definitely be happy. It's an automatic reaction. Every action has its own and equal a reaction.
Reaction.
But what I
Yes.
find is that the teachers are the second mother, you can say, or the adopted mother for them. So if the mother
Also
is
fathers.
happy at home,
Also father, okay.